Wow, man. So Concord has officially, well, not officially, but September 6th, which is in 3 days, Concord will be going offline. The game has officially died. I don't think anybody with a brain is surprised by this. Like, I made a video during the beta because I actually spent a good amount of time. I think I played at least maybe 7 hours, and this is 7 hard hours because I played this game when I got off work, just so I can make a video on it. And I gave y'all my opinion on the game, and I told y'all this game, fundamentally, it was cool. You know, the gameplay was solid or whatever, but it wasn't enough. And I knew this game was going to fail because why would you play Concord when you could go play Overwatch, when you could go play Destiny? Well, you know what? And then you got Valorant on the consoles now. Like, there's so many other team-based games that you can go play. Valorant is garbage, by the way, but there was so many other options that you can go and play instead of Concord. And in my opinion, these games are better than Concord. I never played Destiny before, but Overwatch was for sure better than Concord. I could tell you that. And this was a game that people really didn't ask for. Nobody wanted a new live service team shooter, especially when something like Concord is just very mediocre. The characters were very fucking generic. And I've been sick for like almost over a week, so I've been seeing all the mayhem that's been going on when I couldn't make videos. And the fact that this game was in development for 8 years, think about this, 8 years. Imagine working on something for 8 years, and then as soon as you drop a trailer for it, you're hyped, you're thinking it's going to do something, everybody just completely shits on it. And this game had one of the weirdest rollouts because people was actually trying to act like this game was better than what it originally was. And you had some content creators and consumers saying, you know, gamers just want shit to fail. They don't want things to be good. They just want to hate just to hate. I will be the person that says the grifting or whatever the hell you call it is one of the worst communities in gaming. Like, those people need to just go away. But it wasn't the problem. They weren't the problem in this. Everybody had an issue with this game. Everybody saw the problem coming from a mile away. And what's very funny about this whole situation with Sony dropped the best live service this year and the worst one. Helldivers 2 did something I haven't seen in online gaming in a very long time. And then just for them to go from that to Concord, and people expressed how they did not give a damn about this game, and Sony still allowed this game to drop on the release on its initial release date. I really thought they were gonna pull it and make it a free-to-play game before the launch, but Sony was so confident. They're like, we're Sony. This game was so bad that even the most loyal Sony pony, I mean the most blind ones that act like Sony just doesn't shit the bed sometimes, did not defend this game. They're in fact joking right now about this game. That's how bad this was. And again, when I say bad, I'm not saying this game was horrible. It really wasn't. It wasn't a horrible game. It just was a game that didn't need to exist. Now, just look at these numbers right here. The highs and lows of, I don't know what that means, but look at 24-hour peak for Helldivers 2, 26,571. All-time peak is 458,709. Concord has a 110 24-hour peak and a 697 all-time peak in 11 days, and that is the stream numbers, I believe. They didn't crack 1,000. Not even 1,000 all-time player. Do you know how bad that is? Basically, these people were the people that were playing this game, and if you pay $40 for this guy, I don't know what the hell is wrong with you. But these people that were playing this game was probably running into the same people over and over and over and over in these lobbies. It just blows my mind that Sony really thought this was okay. And I knew Sony had a lot of money invested in this. I know they're losing a shit ton of money. I forgot the exact number. But I knew Sony had too much money backed into this game when they did not talk about Astrobot until probably this weekend that just passed. If you go on PlayStation's site, all it is Concord, 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 Concord. And you have everybody in the comments just ripping it. Oh, this is for the 15 players that's playing it, yada, yada, yada. Astrobot comes out this week. I promise you, if you go on Sony's page, well, now you'll probably see it a little bit more because they done gave up all hope on Concord. But I would say, like, last week, like this whole, 11-day stretch that Concord has been out, Sony has at least like 30 Concord posts and no Astrobot posts. They just barely started posting about Astrobot probably like 2 days ago. That's how much money they had in Concord, and that's how much they believe in Concord. Delusion, okay? Absolute delusion. Now, the good thing for PlayStation fans, Astrobot's coming out this Friday. So, I mean, it's going to be able to cleanse the palate. You're going to be able to get something refreshing to get that bullshit out your mouth. So, once the Astrobot drops, nobody's really going to remember Concord. Okay, I found the numbers. They lost nearly 200 million, and that is a hole that is going to piss Sony off. People are going to get fired, heads will be rolling, and I would say rightfully so. Just hear me out. How do you work on a game for 8 years and the characters are all terrible looking? The gameplay is just generic. It's solid, but it's just generic as hell. And some of those characters are just Overwatch clones. Like the main guy on the cover, you know, the one with the little revolver, obviously McCree. You have the sniper that was like Widow. Like, they just had some characters that were literally copy and paste Overwatch characters that were less unique. Still have people sitting here just saying, oh, you know, gamers are going to hate. They wanted this game to fail. Everybody doesn't come as a collective and just agrees that a game is not worth their money. That has not happened before. I mean, Redfall outdid this game. That is horrible. Redfall is one of the worst games to drop in the next generation. It outlived Concord. If that doesn't tell you anything, I don't know what will. Sony needs to listen to the fans. Fans do not want something like Concord. Leave that team-based shooter stuff to Overwatch. Let Marvel Rush cook. Or Marvel Rivals. I don't know why I said Marvel Rush. Marvel Rivals. Can you imagine if Marvel Rivals dropped this around the same time as Concord? Concord wouldn't even have 600 players. They would probably have like 10. Because Marvel Rivals look like it's going to do the team-based system well. And the only reason why that game is really going to succeed is because it's Marvel characters. You have the comic book nerds and the people that just love Marvel characters and stuff as a whole that are going to support the game. You know why? Because of the characters. Concord, nobody wants story mode for those generic ass Concord characters, those pandering ass characters that they created. And I don't even get on the pandering stuff because I really don't care. But the pandering in that game was so blatant. You knew it wasn't going to go well with fans, or not fans, but gamers. Especially, you know, the pronouns and stuff. Yes, I get it. We're in 2024. That's cool. You do what you want. If you rock like that, nobody, I don't give a damn. But to the masses, people don't want to see that shit in their video games. People feel like they get that stuff pushed on them enough. So when you put it in video games, which a lot of people, that is their get away from the real world. You know, you get off work, you want to relax. People don't want to see that shit. I'm sorry. That's what people, that's the masses. You can say it's ignorant. It doesn't matter. That is the masses. That is what people feel. They don't want to see stuff like that. And I've seen people say stuff like, oh man, Overwatch has characters like that. Yes, they do, but they don't shove it down your throat. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's not, when you click on Tracer and the main character is, you know, from that community, you know what I'm saying? When you click on Tracer's character, there's not, you know, the pronouns and, oh yeah, you know, she's into women and stuff like that. Blizzard is not pushing that down people's throat. They're just creating dope ass characters. Like, you gotta respect it. That's where people have to stop with the comparisons to Overwatch. Blizzard isn't forcing anything down people's throat. And then the character uniqueness of Overwatch. When it comes to Blizzard, nobody is going to have a better design than Blizzard. Blizzard has the most talented team of character designers in the gaming industry, in my opinion. Like, if you go down the roster of Overwatch, every character just looks crazy good. And you're going to love them. You're going to want story from them. And that's where Concord fails as well. So there's a lot of things that escalated to the downfall of Concord. When it comes to a team-based video game, the most important thing in a team-based game is the character. Consumers have to bond with that character. They have to want more content from that character. They have to want to at least grind that character. If you go down Concord's whole roster, there's not one character that looks interesting to the point where you're like, oh, I'm going to put hours and hours and hours to this character. And, you know, I want story from them. The people that developed Concord, they really just went all in. They thought this game was really going to succeed despite the outcries. And I remember the producer or whatever, I couldn't even make a video on it. I was so damn sick. He called everybody that was like critiquing the game like untalented somethings. I love when games fail, when producers and shit come out talking mess to the fan, to the consumer, because when you're not professional enough to take the criticism and you just go out and call people untalented losers or whatever, you deserve to fail. Now you look crazy. Your head is probably gonna get chopped off. You're probably, out the door after you talked all that mess. It is what it is. You deserve it. You can't talk mess to people, and you need the game to succeed, especially when you're not even cracking 1,000 players all time peak. That's crazy. That's embarrassing. Sony, hopefully this is a lesson for Sony, man. Listen to the fan base. Listen to the fan base. Nobody wants something like Concord. Leave that to Overwatch. Leave that to Marvel Rivals. Leave it to Destiny. If people are still playing Destiny, I don't know. Destiny is just, Leave that to Valorant. Shit, leave it to Team Fortress 2. Nobody wants a live service team based. No. Go support Helldivers. They go keep supporting Helldivers, because it looks like people are losing interest in that. What Sony needs to do, and Sony, if anybody from Sony is watching, I mean, who the fuck am I? You know what I'm saying? Who am I? But if somebody just so happened to come across this, listen to the fan base. People want SOCOM. People have been begging for SOCOM for years. That is a team-based military shooter that people have been dying for. I miss SOCOM a lot. I played it so much as a kid. Anybody that grew up on the PS2 knows how amazing that series was. Like, I don't know why there's no games for SOCOM anymore. Killzone. Killzone needs to be brought back. Resistance. Those games, those series need to be the ones Sony focused on, that are already established PlayStation series. The license to print money, and then people are gonna be even more mad because something like Last of Us Factions got canceled. And don't get me wrong, Concord has nothing to do, at least I don't think it does. Concord has nothing to do with Last of Us Factions not being a thing. That's just Naughty Dog. Naughty Dog rather fucking keep creating all these fucking Last of Us remakes that don't need. There's like 2 Last of Us games, but there's like 4 Last of Us games. I hate Naughty Dog. Like, Naughty Dog gets on my nerves, but that's besides the point. Sony has to double down on what people want, not what Sony thinks is right. Believe in what the consumer wants. We don't want this. We don't want it. Hence the sales, hence the players. And I know it's people out there right now that are really mad about the failure of Concord. I mean, I've seen some of the most forced things I've ever seen on social media. Like, if you get on Twitter, you're gonna see people posting their clips of this generic ass gameplay and be like, oh man, Concord is just so much fun. You know, when people have to tell you something is so good and it's so fun every single day, it's not really good or that fun. That's really what was happening on Twitter. You had all these people, I swear, are undercover Sony devs or something, posting clips every single day. Oh, I'm having a blast on Concord. Concord is so fun. I can't believe that people are shitting on this game. Posting these generic ass 3 kill streaks, 4 kill streaks. Like, I was just laughing so much. People were really trying to get this game over, and I promise you, half of those people that were playing that game was Sony devs. Hey man, if you stick Concord in your system, you know what shit. We might add a $500 on top of your check. They were doing whatever it took to get people to play that game, and it still didn't work. So let this be a lesson to any dev teams, companies. Listen to your fucking fan base. Listen to your fan base. If they say, we don't want this, don't put it out. Now, don't get me wrong. It could be a situation like Helldivers 2. Cause I remember when Helldivers 2 trailer released, not everybody, but a lot of people was like, man, what the hell is this? This isn't gonna be good. And then Helldivers 2 like completely shook online gaming to its core. It brought online gaming back to its peak. Like, it's crazy that Sony went from that to this. It's just crazy. It's night and day. And what's even more funny, that I knew that this was going to happen. Foam Stars, which came out about, I think, a month or 2 ago for PlayStation, is going to go free to play on October 4th. Now, a lot of people thought it was free to begin with because if you had PlayStation Plus, it was free for a month. I play Foam Stars. I actually like Foam Stars. I put in about like 20 hours on Foam Stars. But the thing would be, it just didn't last long for me. And I know that was the case for a lot of people. And I know this was like a clone of a Nintendo game. I don't play Nintendo, so I've never played that game that it literally just copied. I enjoyed it, but it just wasn't a game that wasn't going to stand the test of time. And Sony did what they needed to do, make it free to play. Now, is that going to help the game? I don't think so. I think people are just like removed from it. But the whole point is that the fact that Foam Stars went the way that it did because it lost so many players, I just knew the same thing was going to happen to Concord. There is no way in hell, while Concord is offline right now, they're going to make a return like next year and be like, you know what, the game is $40 again. No, Concord is going free to play. Sony has too much money invested into this game that it's going to go free to play. Yes, the game is dead. It's going to stay dead even if it comes back free. I mean, come on, look at this right here. This is, I have to bookmark some of this stuff. One is, I don't know who dude is, but he says, I played a few matches at lunch and I saw a ton of level 1 players. That's cap. Because nobody's playing this game. But people in spectator clearly learn and welcome new players. Some first tips. Sprint is the, like, this is like the corny stuff. Like there's just so many new players and you just got to give out a freaking tip. Like, come on, bro. Stop it. Corny. And here's another one, man. The extra skin that you unlock. I mean, what in the most untalented shit is this? Is just abysmal. Look at this. And then look at something like an Overwatch skin that you can unlock. Tell me which one looks more intriguing. You know what I'm saying? You can hate Overwatch as much as you want. A lot of people fell off from Overwatch because the game became harder and you have to be good at the game. I understand it. No, don't get me wrong. Blizzard did shoot themselves in the foot. But that is just like my main point. Blizzard could absolutely do Overwatch filthy. The fan base is so strong and they love the characters in the world of Overwatch so much. It doesn't matter. The game is always going to be supported. Overwatch will never die. There will never be an Overwatch killer. You have to have that type of fan base for a live service team shooter to stand the test of time. Concord is not going to have that. You know what I'm saying? I don't know why this is so hard for a lot of consumers and content creators to understand. It was always just a very mediocre, down the line shooter that was just okay. That wasn't worth $40. If you clicked on the PlayStation Store, and you know when a new game drops, even after a week or so, it'll be like on the front page because people have been playing it, been buying it. You could not find Concord on the PlayStation Store to say, like, you could not. You would literally have to type in Concord to get the game to pop up. It was nowhere in like the top downloads or anything. You couldn't find it. That's how fucking shit this game was. But I'm just gonna end this here because I could like literally go on and just keep talking about the failure of this game. I can't imagine working on something and then as soon as I drop it, it just doesn't get received well. But that is the point. That is part of the gaming culture and just anything you do in life. You can work as hard as you want on something, but if you're not listening or paying attention to the market, what is being received well and what the fan base doesn't want, and you ignore it, and you're stubborn and you just say, no, we're going to do this and you guys are going to love it. If you don't love it, you're fucking untalented losers. You deserve what happened to you. Learn from this. They come back with something better in the next couple years. I ain't gonna lie. If I designed this, I'm not going to want to touch a game for the next couple years. I'm just going to take a vacation or something. A long, lengthy vacation. Because again, working on something for 8 years for it to just be one of the worst selling, not even worse. This is probably the worst gaming situation I've ever seen in my life. I mean, and I've seen a ton. Like I said, Redfall was awful. Redfall did better than Concord. I knew this train wreck was going to happen. I didn't know it was going to be this damn bad. This game didn't even last 2 to 3 weeks. Here lies Concord. Rest its soul. Sony believed in it. Nobody else did. Grand opening. Grand closing. Good night.